And welcome back. You may have seen the tiny homes featured on the national television shows, but right here in the Carolinas, those 8 by 6 feet houses, they're a way of life for a growing number of homeowners.
That's right. 7 News reporter and anchor Diane Lee looked into why going tiny has become so big.
At the crossroads of Drifting Brook and Just Wandering Lane is a way of life that's simple and certainly small in size.
Welcome to my empty tiny house.
But big in something new tiny home buyers like Brandon Lloyd find much more valuable.
When you live in a big house, it's comfortable to go home and just hang out in the living room or whatever and not go out. Well, here, your house is tiny and part of your house is actually being outside and meeting your neighbors as part of your living condition.
She's just moving into the Wildflowers tiny home community in Flat Rock, North Carolina. A few houses down,
Come on in, guys.
Pam McMasters, a retired fashion industry professional, moved in last May, happy to leave behind her high society lifestyle.
It was like Christmas morning every morning when I got up. It was like everybody was walking by, walking their dogs. Hi, how you doing? And I fell in love, and that was it.
Both McMasters and Lloyd confess giving up so many belongings ain't easy.
I changed out my bed. I have a queen-size bed. That's for sale if you want it.
But shedding a 2,400 square foot Colorado condo that Lloyd bought after her husband died is giving her the breathing room to let go of more than just stuff.
Through the grieving process or whatever, I've moved into a relatively large house for me. And then began to just fill it up. You don't want your stuff to own you. And I realized during this past 5 years that that's exactly what I had allowed to happen.
In a place like this, each neighbor with their own unique backstory shares the belief that you get more out of life with less stuff.
It's a very peaceful kind of environment.
Elizabeth Dehoney with Wildflowers says it's catching on. 30 new homes have gone up in the last 6 months, 80 total. That expected to nearly double within 2 years.
There's absolutely a trend, and it doesn't just have to do with HGTV. You know, everybody loves the tiny house hunters and the luxury tiny home show, but I think it pulls a heartstring that we all kind of have this need for a simple kind of life.
The dramatic downsizing can be easier on your purse strings too, but it's not as inexpensive as you might think. The homes run about $90,000 with a $500 a month lease.
Randy Hansen can hardly keep up with demand at his Lake Walk tiny home village in Greer, South Carolina.
Now this one's quite a bit smaller.
Since it opened 6 months ago, Hansen says Lake Walk sees a steady stream of interested tenants, quickly snatching up the 43 spots. In Pickens, you'll find Opportunity Village. In Clemson, The Pier.
Try to go down about 4 inches.
Tiny home enthusiasts eager to build a way of life that takes the emphasis off things.
I'm kind of selling freedom.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Watch your head.
That's not to say it's for everyone. The Griffins have seen some tiny home communities that could bring on claustrophobia to even the most open-minded folks.
They're straight up and down.
They're straight, but they're
literally.
When I tell you they're this far from each other, I'm not exact. I mean, you could sneeze and the other guy would hand you the tissue, you know.
So there's storage over here.
Still, McMasters finds living life richly without all the riches is a deeper happiness.
It's not stuff. It's people and relationships.
And Loy has discovered the lack of space.
Well, the number one personal decision that drove this was finding a place where I felt a part of the community.
Creates more space for what is truly most important. In the Carolinas, Diane Lee, 7 News.
I guess there's always room to expand. These tiny home villages offer tours, and we have that contact information on WSPA.com.